Why we forget. The extraordinary science behind why your brain chooses to forget Part 2. Welcome back to Army. In the first part of today's journey, we discovered something surprising. Forgetting is not simply a weakness of the human brain. In many situations, it is a carefully designed feature that helps us learn, adapt, and make better decisions. But this raises another fascinating question. If the brain is constantly forgetting information, why do some memories remain with us for an entire lifetime? Perhaps you can still remember your first day of school, your graduation, the moment you received wonderful news, or maybe you remember a painful experience that happened many years ago. Yet the details remain incredibly vivid. Meanwhile, you may struggle to remember what you ate 3 days ago. Why does the brain treat these memories so differently? The answer begins deep inside a small structure located near the center of the brain. It is called the hippocampus. Its name comes from the ancient Greek word for seahorse, because of its unusual shape. Although it is only a few centimeters long, the hippocampus plays one of the most important roles in human memory. You can think of it as a temporary librarian. Every day, your senses collect enormous amounts of information: faces, voices, conversations, places, smells, emotions. The hippocampus decides which experiences deserve to become long-term memories. Without it, forming new memories becomes almost impossible. One of the most famous examples in neuroscience is a patient known simply as HDM, whose real name was Henry Molaison. In 1953, doctors performed surgery to treat his severe epilepsy. The operation successfully reduced his seizures, but it also removed large portions of his hippocampus. The result shocked the scientific community. Henry could remember much of his childhood. He recognized his parents. He could speak normally. His intelligence remained largely unchanged. But after the surgery, he could no longer create most new long-term memories. Every conversation felt new. Every visitor seemed like someone he had never met before. Researchers studied Henry for more than 50 years. His case completely transformed neuroscience. It demonstrated that memory is not stored in one single place. Different types of memory rely on different parts of the brain. Some memories depend heavily on the hippocampus, others do not. This discovery laid the foundation for modern memory research. But creating a memory is only the beginning. The next challenge is preserving it. Scientists call this process memory consolidation. Imagine building a house. Writing down new information is like delivering bricks to a construction site. The house is not complete yet. Workers still need time to assemble everything into a strong structure. Your brain works in a similar way. Learning something new during the day does not immediately create a permanent memory. Instead, the brain gradually strengthens that memory over time. One of the most important moments for this process occurs while you are asleep. For many years, scientists believed sleep simply allowed the body to rest. Today, we know that the sleeping brain is astonishingly active. During deep sleep, researchers have observed patterns of brain activity that appear to replay experiences from earlier in the day. Imagine practicing a new piano piece in the afternoon. That night, while you sleep, certain groups of neurons may become active again in similar patterns. It is almost as though the brain is quietly rehearsing what it learned. This repeated activity helps stabilize important memories. Several experiments have demonstrated just how important sleep is. Researchers have asked volunteers to learn lists of words, maps, or motor skills. One group sleeps normally. Another group remains awake for much longer. Again and again, studies have shown that people who sleep after learning generally remember more information than those who remain sleep-deprived. Sleep does not merely protect memories. It appears to strengthen them. But memory depends on more than repetition and sleep. It also depends on emotion. Imagine hearing two pieces of information. The first is a random telephone number. The second is the moment someone tells you that your family has just welcomed a new baby. Which memory is more likely to stay with you? For most people, the emotional event. That is because another important brain structure, the amygdala, works closely with the hippocampus. Whenever something produces strong emotions, the amygdala signals that the event may be important for survival. As a result, the brain often stores emotional experiences more powerfully. than emotionally neutral ones. This is one reason people often remember exactly where they were during major historical events, or why childhood memories connected with joy, fear, or surprise remain vivid decades later. Emotion acts like a highlighter. It tells the brain, pay attention, this matters. Interestingly, memory is far less accurate than most people believe. Many people imagine memory as a video recording. Scientists now know that this is not true. Every time you remember an event, your brain rebuilds it. It combines stored information with current knowledge, beliefs, and emotions. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus spent decades demonstrating how surprisingly easy it is to create false memories. In carefully designed experiments, some participants became convinced they had experienced events that had never actually happened. Simple suggestions or misleading questions were sometimes enough to alter what people genuinely believed they remembered. These discoveries have had enormous influence on psychology and even the legal system. Eyewitness testimony can be incredibly valuable, but it is not perfect. Human memory is reconstructive rather than photographic. That realization changed how scientists understand remembering itself. Perhaps memory is less like opening a saved computer file, and more like rebuilding a puzzle each time you look at it. Most of the pieces remain the same, but a few may shift slightly with every reconstruction. The remarkable thing is that this flexible system allows humans to adapt, imagine the future, and learn from experience. Our memories are not frozen in time. They continue evolving along with us. And that leads us to one final mystery. If memories can change every time we recall them, is it possible to deliberately strengthen our memory or even improve it throughout our lives? That's exactly what we'll explore in the final part. Today we've discovered how the hippocampus builds new memories, why sleep is essential for memory consolidation, and how emotion helps determine which experiences remain with us for years. We've also learned that memory is not a perfect recording of the past but a living process that is constantly being reconstructed. In the final chapter, Army will explore the most effective science-backed ways to improve memory, explain why forgetting can actually make learning stronger, and reveal what neuroscience teaches us about building a healthier, sharper brain for life. I'll see you in the final chapter of our journey.